Hello, everybody. Hi. My name is Nicole McLaughlin, and I'm a fashion and footwear designer focused on upcycling. Upcycling is being able to see the potential in what already exists by transforming it and extending the lifespan. My job is to take everyday objects and unwanted items and turn them into something usable, wearable, or thought-provoking. I take something simple, like a tennis ball, and transform it, giving it a completely different function. This started out as a passion project, but now has become a full-time career and a quest to prove to all industries that waste is a resource. And part of my job is showcasing my designs on the internet. And like anyone who shares things online, you're opening yourself up to commentary. I try not to read the comments, but it's inevitable. But they're not all bad. Amazing, so good, you inspire me. I love your work. But of course, you're also met with, this woman is out of her mind. Some people have too much time on their hands. I don't like it, and this one's a little unoriginal, but like, why? But there's one that really caught my attention. She is the fashion industry's dumpster. Ooh, kind of rough. This one stuck out to me, and it stuck with me, mainly because I kind of felt like they might be right. I do take the leftovers of my industry, and I'm quite literally the person people go to when they have trash. And it bothered me for a while, until one day I decided, what's wrong with it being an industry dumpster? I look in there, and instead of trash, I see opportunity. I see potential. And I see money. My design journey began in 2015 after graduating from college and starting an internship working in the fashion industry. I was a graphic designer for footwear and apparel. Before working in corporate fashion, I never truly realized the amount of waste. We're mostly familiar with post-consumer waste, like what ends up in a landfill. But it's not really talked about how much is actually in the offices and the factories themselves. So every day I sat at my computer and I was surrounded by boxes and piles of trash. The halls were lined with all these things. The signs on the walls said shred on them. And this made me so sad because I would look in the box and I'd be like, there's still so much life left. I'd see laces, uppers, midsoles, outsoles, etc. So, without any plan, I took it home with me. I just would rummage through the office on nights and weekends and grab things and take it home. And I didn't have any knowledge of sewing, but I figured I would try and create something. And I did. I started cutting, hot gluing, stapling, disassemble, reassemble. I would physically put the materials onto my body to create shape and to understand form and movement. I'd let the colors and the materials dictate the language of the piece. And I would use every single scrap so that nothing goes to waste. I didn't have the skill set yet, but I certainly had an idea going. So in 2019, I decided to quit my job to pursue my own business of upcycling. I figured if this one office in this giant industry had this much stuff, then all the other fashion offices must be overflowing. And when 2020 came around, I was only 6 months into my independent endeavor when the world shut down. I no longer had access to the well of company materials anymore, and my husband wasn't super keen on me rummaging through my neighbor's trash during a global pandemic. So I had nowhere else to turn but my past projects. I started to upcycle my own upcycles. Kind of meta, actually. Taking apart the things I had made taught me the importance of impermanence, to embrace the feeling of letting go, and that what is next for this piece may even be better than what it was once before. We often limit ourselves to imagining something in only one way, but in actuality, a backpack doesn't have to stay as a backpack. It can be shorts or a vest. And a shoe doesn't have to stay as a shoe. It can honestly be anything. People and brands started to take notice, and at some point, I feel like my address must have been leaked because I was getting truckloads of stuff delivered to my studio, small studio in New York. But this gave me hope that people, and especially these big companies, were recognizing one small independent artist, and that fueled me to show them how good their trash could look. No material is off limits for me. I've used everything, from soccer goalie gloves to beach balls to Legos, to bread. A lot of bread, actually. My ideal project is one that I could rework into a lunch after. And I use humor as a way to capture people's attention and to bring them into a difficult conversation. Sustainability can be kind of dark, a little scary, not super inviting. So I make these projects to make things a little bit more approachable. I thought this was kind of funny. This way of thinking has really altered my way of life. I think about materials every day and how I can make them more multifunctional. But every day, I really am thinking mostly about how we can put the pressure and the spotlight on these big companies who are the ones that are producing this stuff. They put the responsibility on us, consumers, to figure out what to do with it. We should be demanding transparency as consumers, for not just a look behind the curtain, a chance to get behind the curtain and get involved, to upcycle the curtain. And oftentimes, a lot of these things get trashed because it costs more money to store it in a warehouse than it would be to just create it brand new. This feels like such a flawed system. There is so much time and money and people's resources and hard work invested to produce it. So why are we so quick to throw it all away and start from scratch? Why not try to use what we already have? And something that I find in the fashion industry, but beyond, is really depressing, is the fact that brands that are making more sustainable products choose not to talk about it because they're afraid it will highlight any of the other things that they're doing that aren't as sustainable. Every step forward is important. And fast fashion is definitely on the rise. And as college students, I'm sure you can all relate, it's a lot easier to buy things when they're cheaper. But when you're thinking of sustainability, you have to be considering the entire process. It's not just about the fibers and the materials. It's livable wages, ethical working environments, how things are packaged, how things are shipped. Keep that in mind when you're buying things. Shopping secondhand is a great, more affordable option. But nowadays, it kind of feels like even thrift stores are becoming more expensive. So my suggestion to you guessed it, is upcycling. Learning how to sew and repair your clothes and make your wardrobe work for you. You can also initiate things like clothing swaps on campus with your friends, at your office. Just because you don't want something anymore doesn't mean a friend wouldn't want it. Ways that we see upcycling at scale is do like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, to keep things circular. But can we find a way to connect these big brands that have all this stuff with the everyday person? Can we create a communal dumpster, for lack of a better word? I think so. I started to teach workshops as a way to get the materials to those who are looking for it, a place where people can come together from all different backgrounds to learn how to sew and create. Problem solving around waste isn't just a fashion industry issue. We can be working together. Sometimes we're actively solving each other's problems, but we're not communicating. This is a great place to get people talking, get their hands dirty, get into it. I've also been working with brands to help implement service centers where you can bring in your old clothes, get them fixed up, get them ready for you to wear again. And also take-back programs. So when you are done wearing things, you can send them back in exchange for a discount, and knowing that those fibers are going to be continued to use. I also been working to create modular design solutions, things that could be worn different ways. That's more sustainable. Pattern efficiency, so there's less waste when you're cutting rolls of fabric. And upcycling at scale, which is something I'm really excited for. And you can get involved too. Take a look in your closet and go for those things that you haven't worn in a while. Make them functional again. If you're looking for material, please reach out to me. And if you're looking to get rid of material, please do not send it to my home address. However, please do get in touch, and I'll help you get it to the people who need it. So I challenge you all to jump in the metaphorical dumpster. For me, not so metaphorical. Take a look around at the things that already exist, and you'll be surprised at what you would have thrown away. Thank you.